So here we have our mini loom warped and ready to go. This is our shed stick and our shuttle sticks. So before I start, I'm just going to wind one of the shuttle sticks using our t-shirt yarn. It's fairly simple. Find an end and then just hold it on there, wind between the grooves until you don't have to hold the end anymore. And just wind it enough that you have a good amount on there. The thicker the yarn, the less you will be able to wind on there because it will eventually get in the way. So just a few passes with this t-shirt yarn is plenty. And then I'll just cut off the rest of the yarn. Great. All right. Our 2 yarns ready to go. I'm going to start with this maroon yarn because it's a little bit thinner. I'm just turning it around because the yarn that I tied off is kind of in the way there. So I noticed that one of my threads is crossing the others, so I'm just going to go figure out the problem. All of these shed stick grooves are filled, so what I'm going to have to do is move some of the others over. So I'm just going to move this down to the end, move them all over until there is a space. There, now we're ready. With the shed stick, if I turn it to the front, will bring some threads to the top, and if I turn it the other way, it brings the opposite threads to the top. It doesn't matter which one you start with, just pick one and go. I'm going to unspool some of the yarn so that when I thread it through, I have an end that won't disappear. And I'm threading it through what is called the shed. The shed is the space between the top threads and the bottom threads, and that is what creates our weaving pattern. In this case, it's just one up and one down based on the shed stick. So I'll bring my shuttle through, and now I'm going to bring this yarn as close to the bottom as I can get it. You could decide to bring it to a different area if you wanted a little fringe when you're done with your weaving, but I'm just going down to the bottom so I can do a bunch of different techniques all on one weaving. So now I rotate the shed stick in the opposite direction and I bring our shuttle through again. Now just be sure that you're going under or over the end thread so that it is included rather than floating outside of the weaving. So there, I just thread it through. And you want to pull it tight, but not too tight. I'm going to thread the shuttle stick back through here in order to beat it down. You all have a comb included with your looms. I'm just missing one, so I didn't take one of the combs with me. But you can use anything to beat it down, any sort of rigid piece that will go in between. And you can see rather than pulling it completely across, I want to make sure I'm not pulling it all the way in, because then you'll get what's called draw in, where it becomes skinnier the more you weave. It will happen a little bit, but you want to avoid it if you can. So now I'm using our t-shirt yarn. I'm still doing the same pattern. I'm going to bring in through the yarn and use the shuttle to beat it down. I'm also using my fingers to get it down as tight as I can. Now the t-shirt yarn is a little thicker, so I'm using whatever means I have to get it through. All right, and now I'm actually going to unspool the shuttle so that I can show you another trick with this stick here. So I'm going to move my shed stick, bringing up a new shed. And then instead of putting the shuttle with the yarn through, I'm going to put the shed stick into our shed, and you can see it goes much easier without any yarn on it. Then I'm going to rotate it. So now that is creating a much bigger shed. And now I can just slide the yarn through much more easily. Bring it down, and now I'm going to flip this down flat and use that to beat down the next thread. So once more, I adjust my shed, I put in my shed stick, and the closer you get to the shed stick, the wider the area will be. Now I'm going to beat it down again before bringing it through because that makes sure it's extra tight. Bring through my yarn, rotate that down, beat it all down tight, and off we go. Now, since I took the t-shirt yarn off the shuttle stick, I'll have to explore other ways of getting it through. So I'm actually going to make the shed stick flat so I don't have any raised threads, and I'm going to change up my pattern. So I'm going under 2, over 2, under 2, over 2. Well, that was my cat Noah, and I'm going to leave it in there. So this is the beginning of a twill pattern. If you've watched the paper weaving videos, that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm just using my fingers to bring it all the way down. Now I'm going to repeat it, and I can also use my shed stick to change up the weaving pattern. I just want to make sure I stay in order, that I'm not choosing random threads, and I'm going under 2 and over 2. I sped this up, don't worry, don't go this fast, take your time. Again, you could use your comb here. I'm just using my fingers to get it down as tight as I can. So those are the beginning basics of using this loom. I will be doing a separate video with other methods of weaving.